This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim pass the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, I was up early watching Team USA take on New Zealand. And, you know, for the most part, they disposed of New Zealand. Game started off a little bit closer than I expected. But they disposed of New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen. Go on to a 99-72 victory. I think that was the final score in Game 1 of group play for the FIBA World Cup. And Team USA, you know, the chemistry is growing. They are looking pretty good. Before we start to really break down, I don't want to say I'm going to fully break it down, but we're going to look at the numbers, talk a little bit about Team USA, and then focus in on the New York Knicks. What else are we going to do? But before I get to that, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to announce to you that later on today, I'll be releasing a registration for you to do to buy pre-tickets for the home opener. All right. Of course, we're going to be going as a group, 40 to 50 of us going as a group. And we're going to start taking deposits. Maybe that's a better word for me to say. Deposits. So if you want to get in early, put down your deposit, because next week is when MSG is going to begin opening up group tickets, ladies and gentlemen. So we want to be in on it, get that thing knocked out the way. All right, so let's talk about Team USA as they defeat New Zealand 99-72, ladies and gentlemen. And they were led by Paolo Banchero with 21 points. He also had 4 rebounds, 7 rebounds for Anthony Edwards. He led the team in rebounding. And Austin Reeves led the team in assists with 6. But let me tell you, Banchero, man, that kid is nice. And he looks like he might be on his way to being one of the best power forwards ever in the NBA, to be honest with you. That kid can play basketball straight up and down. You know, he's in Orlando. So for a lot of people, that's oblivion, you know, being there in Orlando. Orlando hasn't done anything since they've had Shaq. Right? They haven't done anything since they've had Shaq. They got a nice young group, but it's Orlando. You know what I mean? It's Orlando. But Banchero is making himself, is letting the world know that he's serious. You know what I'm saying? He is very, very serious, and is going to be a force to reckon with in the NBA. You know what I mean? Anthony Edwards, that kid, man, he started off the game slow, ended up with, 14 points, 7 rebounds. But that kid he's just a demon on both sides of the floor, offensively and defensively. The kid is just a demon. If we can get him on the New York Knicks, I would love to have Anthony Edwards on the Knicks. I can't see that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be moving Anthony Edwards anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? He's their rock. He's their future. Can't see that they'd be moving that kid, but at some point he's going to become a free agent. You know, would he want to stay in Minnesota? Who knows? But when he does become a free agent, the New York Knicks, they gotta be on tap with this kid. Because I think he's going to be, my opinion, I think he's going to be the future of the NBA. You know what I mean? He's going to, his game is just going to get more defined as time goes on, as he grows, as he becomes a better basketball player. This game it'll just become more defined. It's going to get better and better and better. Better and better. You know what I mean? But, overall, it was a good game from Anthony Edwards. Austin Reeves, 6 assists for Austin Reeves. He is proving to be a very good signing for the Los Angeles Lakers. I've seen a kid be able to go off the dribble. You know what I mean? Seen him be able to go off the dribble. He can pull it up. He can do a lot of things. Obviously, he had 6 assists for Team USA today. As for the New York Knicks, who were on Team USA, Jalen Brunson had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists versus New Zealand this morning. Well, it's this evening over there, but this morning here, he shot 50% from the field. He shot 40% from 3, 100% from the free throw line. And Jalen Brunson is taking charges with Team USA, just like he does with the New York Knicks. You know what I mean? He's out there taking charges. He's actually playing some very good defense. Now, you're playing against players who don't have the same type of speed as NBA players and, the same type of athleticism as NBA players. But he's playing better defensively. He looks fit. He looks a little bit thinner. And he's wholeheartedly the leader of that basketball team. No doubt about it. He's the leader of that basketball team. You know what I mean? 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for Jalen Brunson. You know what I mean? And when you look at his role with that team, like I said, he's the leader, he's the facilitator, he's the floor general. He's not called upon to score, 30 points a game. So this is really, really good work for Jalen Brunson, in my opinion, because while he still has to play hard and they're going through practices and they're doing those things, because he doesn't have to score 25 to 30 points a game, he's not getting the same wear and tear on his body that he does when he's playing with the Knicks. So that's definitely a good thing. I don't want to say it's glorified practice because the competition is much higher than practice, right? Much higher than practice. But he doesn't have to, he doesn't have to put as much wear and tear on his body. Now, he is out there taking charges and doing those things because that's what Jalen Brunson does. And that's who he is. You know what I mean? He's going to battle in that manner. That's just who he is. Kerry Cox, I see you. You said, hey, Evan Fournier is playing well too. I get it, but, for the most part, Evan Fournier is not part of this basketball team anymore. And I know he's still on the team, technically, but nobody expects Evan Fournier to play. I don't expect Evan Fournier to play. I still expect Evan Fournier to be moved somehow, some way. You know what I mean? And listen, we have a group chat, and Andy's in the group chat. You know what I mean? He's always talking to us about Evan Fournier. And I'm not trying to diss Evan Fournier. I'm just saying I'm not expecting Evan Fournier to play. I don't look at Evan Fournier as being part of this basketball team right now. No diss to Evan Fournier. I just don't see him as being part of this basketball team. Just don't see it. Josh Hart, 5 points, 4 rebounds today. Comes in, plays defense. You're not expecting Josh Hart to do a ton of scoring. I will say this. When he did get a chance I still see some of the same things from Josh Hart. He did knock down a 3, a nice catch and shoot 3. He knocked it down. All right. But I still see the hesitation from Josh Hart. And I don't know if he's working on it or if anyone has said to him, hey, we need you to be quicker with the trigger, but the Knicks need him to be quicker with the trigger. You know what I mean? They need him to shoot the ball when he's open. He did it today, one time, but there were a couple of times when I thought he could have shot the ball and he hesitated. He pump faked and then passed it. But Josh Hart does what Josh Hart does. You know what I mean? Hustle, grab rebounds, and he did it out there. Against New Zealand. All right, he shot 50% from the field, 100% from the three-point line, and that's supposed to be 100% from the free throw line that you see up there on your screen. All right, but listen, Josh Hart he's got the contract now, ladies and gentlemen. He's got the contract, and we want to see his basketball game grow. On the telecast, they said, some people call him Josh Barkley. I don't know if that's what they're calling him at Team USA, right? Josh Barkley, because you know what I mean. He plays like a power forward type of guy, even though he's 6'4". And I guess that's what really makes him so valuable to the Knicks and the contract that he got with the New York Knicks. Some people are happy about it. Some people are not happy about it. This, that, and the third. But the ability that he has to play big is what makes him so valuable with the New York Knicks, I guess. You know what I mean? The ability, because he's so strong lower body, strong upper body. You know what I mean? He has some jumping ability. So he's able to defend threes and fours, and it's tough for those type of players to post up Josh Hart because he is so strong. Still think this team needs a little bit more length out there, right? Because in the NBA, guys, there's a lot of guys that have, long arms, long legs, 6'8", 6'9", that can play that guard position, and it's still going to be tough. Guys are going to be able to shoot over Josh Hart and all of our young, small guards. But tonight over there, today here, Josh Hart had 5 points, 4 rebounds versus New Zealand. All right, Team USA, they play again Monday at 8:30 in the morning. A lot of people not going to be able to see that game because they got to get up and go to work. I should be able to watch the game, I hope, and then do a show afterwards. And then they play again. The next game is at 4:30 in the morning. I can guarantee you I'm not getting up at 4:30 in the morning to watch Team USA play. I will watch the replay. You know what I'm saying? But there's no way I'm getting up at 4:30. Matter of fact, there might not be any getting up. I'll be going to sleep at 4:30 in the morning, probably. That's usually what happens. You know what I mean? I'll be up 3 o'clock in the morning doing work or playing chess or doing something, but I'll probably be going to sleep at 4:30. I don't know. We'll see. All right, but Team USA wins game 1 in their group. They're in Group C. All right, they win the first game in their group. And, there's a lot of question about Team USA and whether or not they have enough stars to win it. I think it's not even about the stars. I think they have a good enough team to win it. Right? I think they have, this team has some cohesiveness. You get what I'm saying? They have some cohesiveness. They have a good leader in Jalen Brunson. You know what I mean? They're not out there. They talked about it on the telecast. They're not out there trying to be the star. Right? No one's out there like, I'm the man, I'm the guy. They're really playing team basketball. And whoever's night it is, that's who they're giving the basketball to. That's who they're giving the ball to. So, good first win by Team USA. All those other games that they played before were exhibition games, warm-up games to get ready for the World Cup. I'm expecting this team to win the gold. You know what I mean? I'm expecting this team to win the gold. I will be disappointed if they don't win the gold. I mean, not highly. I'm not going to be as disappointed if it, like if that was the Knicks, obviously I'd be much more disappointed. But I'm still going to be disappointed if they don't win the gold. I want this team to win it. All right? I want this team to win it all. All right? We'll get back, talk some more about Team USA. I want to just respond to some things that I see in the chat about Evan Fournier. And anything else that you want to talk about. I'm here for a little while, not super duper long, but I'm here for a little while to talk New York Knicks, talk Team USA, talk NBA, whatever it is that we want to discuss and talk about. I'll let the stats rotate through as we're talking. You know what I mean? So first of all, let me respond to some things I see about Evan Fournier in the chat. Kerry Cox said he's hoping that Evan Fournier increases his trade value. See, here's the thing. I don't think it does, to be honest with you. I dig what you're saying. I just don't think it does because we've seen it from Evan Fournier before, right? This is not the first time that we've seen Evan Fournier play good in FIBA or any other kind of international play. It's not the first time. So I really don't see that it's going to increase his trade value. I think people in the NBA know who he is and what he is. As a matter of fact, I guess it can because, maybe people will see, well, he still has it. He can still play basketball, right? But then the question is still going to be, well, can he do it in the NBA? You know what I mean? I don't doubt that Evan Fournier can still hoop. I don't doubt that at all. I think he's always been a decent basketball player. He's always been someone who can hoop a little bit, right? And to be honest with you, he could probably still add something to this basketball team because in that second unit, they're small. Emmanuel Quickley, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart. They're small. Evan Fournier is 6'7". Could he fit in that second unit? Possibly. Will Tom Thibodeau even consider Evan Fournier? I don't think so. I think that relationship is done. You know what I'm saying? I think that relationship is done. So I don't think there's a chance that he gets back to the team. I don't even think he reports to camp, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a situation where, he stays home. I'd be surprised if he reports to camp. I'd be surprised. And I'd say this, if he does report to camp, right? If he does report to camp, then maybe there is a chance. Because the way I see it, it's either he's going to not show up at all, and it's done, or report to camp and say, okay, I'm going to be a good soldier. Now, I think it would be a good move for the Knicks to, if he doesn't report to camp, just to, put it out there and say, hey, it's a group decision that, he's going to stay home while we look for a trade package or something like that. This way, it doesn't look bad on Evan Fournier. Although he did have a couple of things to say earlier, in the offseason. You know what I mean? It doesn't look bad on Evan Fournier. I think the Knicks are that type of organization right now. They're trying to, they want to protect their players. They want to treat their players right, help players get to places that they want to go or get to places that's going to help them during their career. You know what I mean? Keith Turner said they're going to move RJ. They're just waiting on a trade. I don't think that they are out out there shopping RJ, man. I really don't. I don't think they're out there shopping RJ. I think if something comes along and RJ has to be included, then they'll do it. But going out, I just don't think they're shopping RJ. I think it's more like I just said. Because I think that would, if they're shopping RJ, like you're saying, I think that would put a bad taste in his mouth. It would probably hurt the chemistry of the basketball team. And I think they're very careful not to damage the chemistry that this team has built. You know what I mean? Now, will he get moved? I think it's definitely possible that he gets moved. I don't think he gets moved this offseason. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he gets moved this offseason. I don't think that, if he did, it would maybe be by the trade deadline. You said they were shopping RJ this summer. I don't know if they were really shopping RJ this summer. His name might have come up in trade talks when they were, talking about Paul George. But I don't think they're calling teams and saying, hey, what would you give us for RJ? I don't think it's that type of shopping. I think it's more like there's a player out there that we want. And when that team says, when they start to negotiate, RJ's name comes up. Obviously, it's going to come up. Julius Randle's name is going to come up. Jalen Brunson's name is going to come up from other teams, not from the Knicks. The Knicks are going to be like, no, we're not moving Jalen Brunson, obviously, but other teams will bring his name up. You can guarantee that. I just don't think they're out there straight up shopping him, calling teams and saying, hey, we want to move RJ. What will you give us for RJ? You know what I mean? I don't think it's that way. Kerry Cox said, they're not looking to move RJ, but if the right player becomes available, he's highly tradable. I agree. You know what I'm saying? I agree. I think he would be highly tradable. He's an asset that I think they're willing to move if the right player is available. Who is that right player? I don't know. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Who is the right player? Paul George. I mean, every player that we talk about trading for, besides your big guys, right? Like Giannis, obviously anyone's available for Giannis, but he's not even on the trading block, and he probably will never be on a trading block for the Milwaukee Bucks unless he has out. So all the other guys that we're talking about have just as many flaws as our current players. And you cannot definitively say that adding these players takes the Knicks over the top. If you're talking about Paul George, he's a great basketball player, injury issues. You talk about Zach LaVine, great basketball player. He's had injury issues, questions about defense. Questions about relationship with Tom Thibodeau, maybe. Because Tom Thibodeau traded him for Jimmy Butler. I think that would be the only question. If you're talking about DeMar DeRozan, great basketball player, doesn't shoot the ball from the outside. You know what I mean? There's questions about everybody. Karl Anthony Towns, questions about his work ethic, his motivation. There's questions about everybody. And just like there's questions about the Knicks players, right? There's questions about RJ, questions about Julius Randle, questions about everybody. That's why it makes it so hard. That's why it makes it so hard to move a player. You got to make sure you're moving for the right player. Knicks are nice. Did U.S. win today? Yes. USA won today. They beat New Zealand 99-92. Kind of covered that. Not much to cover there. So we covered it a little bit. Now we're just talking about Knicks stuff. You know what I mean? We'll go back. We'll talk about that a little bit more. You know what I mean? The Public Enemy said Fournier isn't sitting on the bench for the second year straight. Knicks better make a trade soon because Fournier isn't holding back anymore. He'll let Thibodeau in the front office have it. He probably would, but I think, I think he'll be home, sitting home before, he gets a chance to let them have it. And the Public Enemy, you probably got to change your profile picture. You know what I mean? I mean, I know, you're an Obi fan, but you might need to change that to Dante DiVincenzo or somebody. Kerry Cox says San Antonio just needs to give us a second-round pick for Fournier. Here's the thing about that trade. Any trade with Evan Fournier, I think what the Knicks are going to be looking for is they want to try to capitalize on that $19 million that he's owed. You see what I'm saying? They want to capitalize on that. I would want to. You have $19 million. That's a large. You can get a good player for $19 million. Do you need to add more to it because of the situation with Evan Fournier? Yeah, you do. Right? You got to add more to it, but that's $19 million that you can throw in a trade package to help make the money work and bring back a really, a quality basketball player. The only way that why would San Antonio give us a second-round pick for Evan Fournier? I can't see it. I can't see it because we got to pay, whoever takes him on has got to pay 18 point whatever $19 million, might as well say, right? And if you're talking about them giving us a second round pick and them taking on Fournier, they're taking on his salary. They're taking on his salary and we're giving away salary. You know what I'm saying? So if like Building Blocks is saying San Antonio has the cap space to absorb Fournier, well, then they're doing us a favor. They're going to ask for picks from us, the way that I see it. They're not going to give us picks. I think they would ask for us to give picks and say, okay, you want us to absorb his salary so that you have more maneuverability, if that's even possible right now, then we're going to need some money, we're going to need picks back or something. You know what I mean? Would he be good in San Antonio? Possibly. Right? But I think you said Building Block says San Antonio has to hit the floor. Yeah, true. But I don't know if, I still believe even if they have to hit the floor, there's ways that they can do it without giving up a second round draft pick. They can sign people. They can just go out and sign people on a 1-year deal and not have to give up any draft picks. You know what I mean? So I think they would probably want at least a second round draft pick back. If all they wanted was a second round draft pick back, I'd do it. The Knicks have plenty of second round draft picks. They have plenty of second round draft picks. I would do it. Now, the question is, how much does sending Evan Fournier away for salary space help the Knicks? The Knicks' payroll for this season is $167 million. Right? Evan Fournier makes $18.8 million. $18.8 million. The Knicks owe $167 million. The salary cap is $134 million, somewhere around there, right? So, if you take away Evan Fournier's salary, it takes it down to about $145 million. Okay? The Knicks are not in the luxury tax. So I guess it, maybe takes them down one apron, but they're still going to have some penalties as far as what they can do in free agency and all of those type of things because they're over the salary cap. So how much does it really benefit the Knicks? I guess that's my question, for them to trade Evan Fournier and not bring back any other salary. I think it helps the Knicks more to try to trade him for a quality player. Now, if you can't, then you got to do what you got to do. I dig it. I get it. But I think it helps the Knicks to try to trade him for a quality player. I think you get more back, especially if you can package him with picks or, whatever. If you can package him for a quality player that expires at the same time that Evan Fournier would expire. So Evan Fournier would expire. He expires at the end of this season, but there is a team option for 24-25. Right? I'd like to see the Knicks try to get back a quality player, if it's possible. You know what I mean? His salary really has no bearing on what would happen with Emmanuel Quickley, because if the Knicks did extend Emmanuel Quickley, that extension wouldn't begin until 24-25. Evan Fournier wouldn't be on the team anyway. Right? Anyway. So, I'd like to see the Knicks try to use Evan Fournier to bring back another player. All right. Zach S122 said the Knicks have Quick's bird rights. They don't have to move Fournier. Either way, I mean, regardless of Emmanuel Quickley's bird rights, Evan Fournier's salary is just not going to impact Emmanuel Quickley and what they might do with Emmanuel Quickley, because Evan Fournier's contract will be over next season no matter what. Will be over at the end of this season no matter what. The Knicks are not going to pick up that team option. Even if they're stuck with Evan Fournier for the remainder of this season, they are not going to pick up that team option. If Emmanuel Quickley was extended, the extension would not begin until 24-25. That's when Evan Fournier is done anyway. You see what I'm saying? Right? So, Evan Fournier's contract really has no bearing on Emmanuel Quickley, in my opinion. Really has no bearing. Now, I think with the Knicks, with Emmanuel Quickley, they'll probably just wait until the end of the season. I don't see them giving him an extension unless it's a really, really team-friendly contract. Emmanuel Quickley is going to want his money, no doubt about it. Whatever he thinks he's worth, he's going to want that money. So I don't see them coming to an agreement on an extension. I think it would need to be a team-friendly extension. I think it makes more sense for both sides. For Emmanuel Quickley, for the Knicks to offer Emmanuel Quickley a qualifying offer, extend a qualifying offer to Emmanuel Quickley, and then Emmanuel Quickley turn down that qualifying offer and go to free agency. He'll be a restricted free agent. See what he's worth on the market. And then the Knicks can decide, do we match or do we let him go? Or do we complete a sign and trade? Right? You know what I mean? I think that's the best way to work this thing with Emmanuel Quickley. Right? Because if he goes to free agency this summer, the Knicks won't lose him for nothing. Right? The Knicks will have the right to match. Or they can complete a sign and trade. Right? With the team that he wants to go to. So, obviously they've got their cap situation has to be right in order to complete a sign and trade and all that kind of stuff. So we're talking in theory here. You know what I mean? Because the cap stuff has to be right. Now, Emmanuel Quickley could accept the qualifying offer, play one more season for $6.1 million, and then go to unrestricted free agency. Right? That's an option for Emmanuel Quickley if he wants to bet on himself. He's been a healthy player, but it's still a chance. Still a chance. That's a chance that you take. If you want to bet on yourself, you can say, okay, we're going to take that qualifying offer for 6.1, play one season under it, and then go to unrestricted free agency. right? And I'm not saying this because I think that Emmanuel Quickley doesn't want to be a New York Knick. I'm saying this because I think he wants to start somewhere. I think he's, in the next season, he's going to be at that point where he says, I want to be the starter. I want to be the guy. You know what I mean? Keith Turner, you said they have to extend IQ before training camp. I think they probably have until, I haven't seen any dates, but I'm thinking they probably have until October, right? That's normally around the time when, those extension deadlines come in, somewhere around October. I just don't see the Knicks extending them right now. I could be wrong. It could, if they extend them, I still don't believe that if they do extend Emmanuel Quickley, I still don't believe that means he's going to be here throughout that extension. Because of the logjam in that position and knowing that he wants to start. If they do extend him, I'm going to say it's not totally a bad thing because, like I said earlier, I don't know, I think I said it on Knicks and Bruises. If you trade Emmanuel Quickley right now, before you give him any kind of extension, he makes $4.1 million this year. Are you really maximizing the value of Emmanuel Quickley? If you trade him right now without giving him any kind of extension or anything like that, are you maximizing his value? Right? Now, if you sign him for what he's worth, basketball-wise, basketball value, if you sign him for what he's worth, now you can trade that contract for another contract of similar value. See what I'm saying? Or obviously you can put him in a package and bring back a very good player. But there's a good chance that if you put Emmanuel Quickley in the package, the team that is trading for Emmanuel Quickley is looking at Emmanuel Quickley as the primary piece. There's a good chance that they will be looking at IQ as that primary piece, which means to me that you're not maximizing his value. If teams are looking at him as the primary piece in the trade, you're not maximizing that value. So I can understand if the Knicks are able to work and negotiate a deal with Emmanuel Quickley, an extension, and then he gets traded. He has his extension, and then he gets traded because now the Knicks can, bring back more for Emmanuel Quickley, because of the contract. Or, the contract that begins later. That contract wouldn't begin until next season if he were extended. Wouldn't begin until next season. Which means, though, for a year, whoever he's playing for is still doesn't maximize his value, to be honest with you. That still doesn't, because for that 1 year, for this year, if you extended him and then traded him this year, you still can only trade him for what he's worth, for what he makes this year. This is where that sign and trade really does. Sign and trade in the summer kind of comes in because now you're trading him for that contract amount. A lot of different ways to see it. Keith Turner said you don't see an IQ trade happening. I don't know. I would love for IQ to stay because I really do like Emmanuel Quickley. You know what I mean? I do. Kerry Cox, I have no shame in supporting IQ either. I like Emmanuel Quickley. I really do. You know what I'm saying? I like Emmanuel Quickley. I just see the timing being off for him in the Knicks. You know what I mean? I just see the timing is off. I think Tom Thibodeau really does like Emmanuel Quickley. I think Emmanuel Quickley loves being a New York Knick, right? So in that respect, I think they match up. That respect, I think they match up. But Emmanuel Quickley wants to prove that he can be a starter in this league. So I don't think they match up there. And I think that's the issue. I think that's the biggest issue between the Knicks and Emmanuel Quickley. Not that they're beefing or anything like that, But, as far as Emmanuel Quickley remaining a New York Knick, I think that is the bigger question. Kerry said, who is better, IQ or Grimes? I don't know if I don't think it's always about who's better. I don't think it's always about that. Sometimes it's about fit. Emmanuel Quickley can play well off the ball, but he's more natural with the ball in his hands. Quentin Grimes is more natural playing off the ball. And what do you need in that starting lineup? You need a guy that can play off the ball. And then, of course, you have the size difference between the two. You know what I mean? Could Emmanuel Quickley... Listen, if Emmanuel Quickley becomes a starter this season, if that were to happen, which I don't think is going to happen because this team is not constructed that way. Now, if Dante DiVincenzo shows that he can step up and be a primary ball handler while you put Emmanuel Quickley in the starting lineup, then maybe. But I just don't see it fitting well with Emmanuel Quickley in that starting lineup long-term next to Jalen Brunson. That's just my opinion. I think it fits better. And I'm not saying the Knicks couldn't do well with it because they were going to take the chance with Donovan Mitchell, right? It was going to be Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson in the backcourt. Similar situation to IQ and Jalen Brunson in that backcourt. I believe that Donovan Mitchell offensively is a higher caliber player than IQ. So I think it makes, you can work with it a little bit more, in my opinion. I think it fits better with the way that this team is constructed. It works better with IQ coming off the bench. That's just the way that that's the way I see it. It works better with him being a primary ball handler off the bench, the primary scorer off the bench, being the guy that runs the bench. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a bad thing. But everybody has career goals, and everybody wants to say, hey, I need my chance to prove, that I can be a starting caliber point guard in the NBA and improve my stock around the league so I can make more money, so on and so forth. Everybody has that chance. Fans, we're pipe dreaming if we think every player is going to take some crazy discount to stay with the Knicks or, just be content with always coming off the bench if they believe they can be a starter. That's not the way it works. That ain't the way it works. These players have goals too. And a lot of them have goals to be a starter in the NBA. They all came up with dreams. And IQ is in a spot where he can maybe, test himself out to see if he can, accomplish whatever his dream. You know what I mean? So, I'm not mad at him for that. And I'm not mad at the Knicks. They have to move him either because, that's the way it works in the league sometimes. You know what I mean? And sometimes timing just doesn't match up. Now, people can argue that the Knicks, they had Emmanuel Quickley before Jalen Brunson, and they never gave him a shot to be the starter. And, he never got the shot to be the bona fide starter of the team. And I don't think he was ready for that anyway, to be the bona fide point guard. I think he had some things to learn about being an NBA point guard. And he's learning those things. He's learning a lot from Jalen Brunson. Keith Turner, you said Lou Williams became rich being a career six man, and he's IQ's favorite player. That's cool. I dig all of that. I get that, right? But if you ask Lou Williams, I guarantee you at a point in his career, he was like, I want to see if I can be the starter. And he had his chances to prove whether or not he was, a starting point guard in this league. But I can guarantee you, there was a time when he said, I want to try my hand at it. And I don't think you can fault a player. I don't think any player of IQ's caliber is just going to come into the league and say, yeah, I just want to be the sixth man of the year. No, that's not what. And I'm not downplaying the sixth man of the year, but that's not what players come into the league feeling. Jamal Crawford became one of the best six men ever. But you know what? He was a starter before that. And you can guarantee that he had dreams of being the next Jordan or something. Right? Making his name as one of the all-time great players in the league as a starter. That's just what, that's what players have. I understand, looking from a fan's perspective, even from a coach's perspective, like, hey, you have a great career as a six man. You can be the MVP. You can make all-star games. You can do everything that anybody else can do. You're just a six. You just come off the bench. But that's not the way. That's not what players want. You know what I mean? It's not what players want. Guys want to be starters in this league, and I don't think you can knock them for that. Everybody has career goals. That's what they do. That's what happens when you play in the NBA. For those who are just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, Team USA got their first win in the FIBA tournament. So if you're confused about me saying that, the other games that you saw were not FIBA tournament games. They were exhibition games. Exhibition games. All right, warming up for the tournament. Today started the actual tournament. All right, Team USA, they are in Group C. They played New Zealand, who is also in Group C, and they got their first win. All right, they got their first win. So in Group C, Team USA is competing with Greece, Jordan, and New Zealand. So right now, Greece is 1-0. All right. Team USA is also 1-0. All right. Greece, they beat Jordan 92-71. Team USA, they beat New Zealand 99-72. All right. And if you're wondering about Canada, they won 95-65 today. They are in, I don't want to say today. They won 95-65 in their first group action. All right, and they are in Group H. All right, in Group H. And you know what? France is also in Group H. So Lebanon is in Group H as well. Not that you're worried about Lebanon, but just, letting you know who else is in Group H. All right. And, we'll follow, I guess, we can follow Evan Fournier too, so that we don't leave him, we don't leave him. He already felt left out. So I guess as fans, we don't want to leave him left out, make him feel left out. So we can follow Evan Fournier too. You know what I mean? That way, Andy can feel good. Latvia is also in Group H, ladies and gentlemen. So you have Latvia, you got Canada, now you got France, and you got Lebanon in Group H. All right, so, we'll follow Evan Fournier. We'll follow R.J. Barrett. As they perform, we got New York Knicks performing in FIBA. Today, though, for Team USA, who defeated New Zealand 99-72. Paulo Banchero, he led the team in scoring with 21 points. He also had 4 rebounds. Anthony Edwards had 14.7 rebounds. Jaren Jackson had 12 points. He was in foul trouble a lot of the game, though, today. Jaren Jackson was. Heck of a big man, I tell you that. Heck of a big man, but he was in foul trouble today. Tyrese Halliburton, again, showing off his passing ability. Some really nice passes there, especially in that second half. A lot of people are speculating whether or not he can break the record for number of assists in the game. He had 12 twice during exhibition play. But yeah, Tyrese Halliburton, man, he's got a good eye. His vision, he has really good vision out there. Really good vision. Jalen Brunson, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists versus New Zealand. Yeah, he shot 50% from the field, 40% from three, 100% from the three-point line. And then Josh Hart had 5 points, 4 rebounds. He shot 50% from the field, 100% from three, and 100% from the free throw line. All right, so Knicks players are putting in work, ladies and gentlemen. Putting in work for Team USA. Team USA plays again on Monday at 8:30 a.m. our time. Right, and then their game after Monday, they play 4:30 a.m. And, not many of us are going to be watching that one. I have to catch that one on replay because too early in the morning. Like I said, I'll probably be just going to sleep, but I'm still not going to watch the game because if I watch the game, then I won't be going to sleep until 6:30 in the morning. If I go to sleep at 6:30 in the morning, or if I stay up till 6:30 in the morning, I might as well just rock out. Might as well just rock out. So I'm not doing that. But Team USA, man, they came into FIBA ranked behind Spain. At this point, they are ranked above Spain. All right. They beat Spain in exhibition. And right now, well, actually, excuse me, I was looking at the boys, not the men. I'm sorry. For the men, right now, Spain is still ranked above the U.S. All right, so Spain, for current points, 758.3 points. This is how they determine the ranking. The USA, 757.2 points. Then it's Australia, Argentina, France, Serbia, Slovenia, Lithuania, Greece, Italy, Germany, this Czech Republic, Brazil, Poland, and then Canada is number 15. Right, so, USA is still ranked number 2, but I believe that Team USA is going to win the World Cup. It's not going to be easy, right, because everybody is shooting for Team USA. When they play Team USA, they're coming with their best. You know what I mean? They're coming with their best, but Team USA is just too deep. In my opinion, they're too deep, and they have too much talent. Even though they don't have, the so-called stars and all of that, I still believe they have too much talent. Too much talent. So, and Canada has some talent too. They got a lot of NBA players there, but, I don't expect them to. I don't expect them to win the gold, but who knows? Who knows what could happen? The other day, Canada played France. Canada beat France 95-65. Evan Fournier had 21 points in that game. Canada was led by SGA with 27. Rudy Gobert had 9 rebounds for France. SGA had 13 rebounds. SGA also led the team in assists with 6. And as soon as I get it up, I'll talk about RJ's stats. People, are talking about RJ getting, traded and things like that. He didn't play well against France. He had 5 points, but he has played well throughout the exhibition period. RJ had 5 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. He was 1 for 10 from the field. He was 1 for 7 from the three-point line. But this hasn't been what RJ's done throughout the FIBA exhibition games. Hasn't been what, just hasn't been. He's played well, no doubt about that. And we'll see if he can get back on track. Canada, they got some players. They got Lou Dort. They got Nikhil Alexander-Walker, SGA. Dwight Powell, RJ, Kyle Alexander, Kelly Olynyk, Dylan Brooks. They got some players over there. I don't think it's enough, but they got some players over there. All right. As far as, well, we talked about Evan Fournier for France. But Evan Fournier had 21 points. He was 8 for 19 from the field. He was 5 for 6 from 2, 3 for 13 from the three-point line. He had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, a couple of steals for Evan Fournier. There it is. Keith Turner, he said, Brunson is a star to me, though. I guess, you're talking about, this notion that Team USA doesn't have stars. Listen, he's a star to a lot of Knicks fans. No doubt about it. He's a star to a lot of Knicks fans. Is he a star throughout the league? He's one of the best players in the league. You know what I mean? I think he's got to duplicate his performance. You've seen a lot of people in the league have a year where they kind of break out. You know what I mean? And then as teams pick up what they do and start to really, really scout and plan against this player, you see their play trickle off. I don't think that's going to happen with Jalen Brunson. Just because of what I've seen in the playoffs, when teams really had a chance to cue in on Jalen Brunson. I mean, I'm talking about with the Miami Heat, the Knicks could not shoot the ball. They weren't getting good performances from people. And Jalen Brunson was still giving it to him. All they had to do was cue in on Jalen Brunson, and Brunson was still giving it to him. This is, for me, is what makes me say, yeah, this guy is definitely, I don't want to say definitely, he is going to be a star in my opinion. He's going to be one of the top players, already is one of the top players in this league. Should be an all-NBA guy, should be an all-star. I mean, when a team, all they have to do is cue in on you because nobody else on your team is hooping, and you're still giving them 30 to 40, that's nuts to me. That's crazy. That's what Jalen Brunson did. That's what he did in the playoffs, man. That's what he did in the playoffs. And so, yeah, I do think that Jalen Brunson is at least a star in the making. At least a star in the making. And I think he's going to come back and have a really, really good season. You know what I mean? A really good season because I think he's going to be in tip-top shape. I think he's going to be motivated to prove because just like, he probably hears people like me. Right now he don't because he probably still can. But people like me saying, well, he's got to prove it again. You know what I mean? So I think he's definitely going to be motivated. And, there was some guy who called him and did a little mini interview with Jalen Brunson and was asking him about the Knicks season. And he gave a quick answer, but, he said, of course, he's excited. He's excited to play with Dante DiVincenzo. They asked him about him, what the expectation is for next season. And he basically was like, we're not coming in, saying we got to be up here. We're taking it one, we're not coming in focusing on the end game. We're taking it one day at a time. That kind of focus. And Tom Thibodeau has the entire team with that kind of focus. One day at a time, one piece at a time, one practice, one sprint at a time, all of that, one rebound at a time, to get the thing done. So they don't focus on that end game. They just focus on what's right in front of them. And like he said in that interview, I'm gonna get through this, then I'm gonna focus on that. But right now he's focused on Team USA. But Teddy White said he will be a star. This season will solidify things. If he can do what he did in the playoffs with Miami, I think he's going to be good. I agree 100%. 100%. If he can do that, he'll be good. And there's some people who believe that Brunson might average 27 to 30 points a game because of what he did in Miami. And, there might be a very good chance, to be honest with you. And the reason why I say that is because last year when the season started, the Knicks were still trying to figure out who's the guy they're going to in tight situations. You know what I mean? Who are they going to in tight situations? Who's the guy that gets the buckets? Who's the guy that they rely on? They were trying to figure that out in the beginning of the season. By the end of the season, they knew. So by the end of the season, it was, we're going to throw the ball to Brunson and let him get his thing on. And we're going to get out the way while he does his thing. They figured that out. Now, at the beginning of this season coming up, they don't have to figure that out. They got that. That's there. Now it's about who's going to help Jalen Brunson in those situations. Who's going to be there with him? Who's going to get buckets with him? Who's going to help to release that pressure so he doesn't have to do it every single night, 30 points? But because they know he's the guy that they're throwing the ball to, there's a good chance, in my opinion, that maybe he does average 27 points a game. He averaged 24 points a game this year. Not out of the question in my mind that he could average 27 to 30 with more shot attempts. And I think he does get more shot attempts because he did prove that he was the guy. And I don't think he set out to prove that he was the guy. That's just him. That's just what he does. That's just how he plays. So I think there's a very good chance that he gives you 27 to 30 points a game this year. You know what I mean? Very good chance because the team, even Julius Randle, when it comes down to those last minutes, and if nobody else is hitting, Jalen Brunson is getting the ball. He's getting the ball. Magnum boom. Said Brunson is certainly moving in the right direction of stardom. Leon Rose must take advantage of this discounted window opportunity. Yeah, and it's a short discounted window opportunity. It's a short one. Because that contract, it doesn't fully expire in 25, 26. There's a player option in 25, 26. So you're talking about this season and next season, where Jalen Brunson makes 26.3 this season, 24.9 next season, and then there's a player option for 24.9 and 25, 26. So yeah, this window, a short window it is, between 23, 24, and 24, 25, is the time to get another guy. Right? This is when you can really fit it. You have a better chance, an easier way to fit it in the salary to get one of these guys, right? Because you're paying less salary to, your top three players. Paying less salary. But when you get to 25, 26, Julius Randle might opt out. Jalen Brunson might opt out. Now you're talking about struggling to bring in another guy without moving your big dogs. You know what I mean? And right now, with Evan Fournier's contract in tow, you have the ability to use that package of money. You know what I mean? Like, you have that ability to do it right now if it's possible. But, you can't just go get anybody just to get somebody. It's got to be the right person, the right guy that you think is going to help take you over the top. But, of course, we talked about it before. When you get to 25, 26, Randle might want $40 million. Jalen Brunson is definitely going to want $40 million as long as he continues. So the Knicks' salary is going to go up. RJ will be making $27.7 million in that season. The next season, RJ makes $29.6 million. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there is definitely a window where the Knicks can capitalize on these low salaries they're playing, their top players. how do you capitalize on it? You know what I mean? Who do you get? Who's gonna be the person? Who's gonna be the guy that you bring in there? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. You know what I mean? It's a tough one. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to remind you later on today, not exactly sure what time, but later on today, you'll be able to make down payments to secure your spot to opening night. October 25th, the Knicks play the Boston Celtics. Right? You'll be able to secure your spot, make your down payment. That money will go towards your ticket. Right? And then if the tickets come out, we don't know the price of the tickets yet, but if it comes out to be more, then you'd have to pay a little bit more. If it comes out to be less, then we'll refund you, what's due. All right, so just look for a short video explaining that today, tonight, or whatever it is. Look for a short video explaining how the deposits work and get them done, because Wednesday, those group ticket sales open up. We want to try to lock down our spot. You know what I mean? We want to lock it down before everybody locks it down. And then, of course, on October the 7th, we'll be having our NBK season kickoff cookout. It'll be in Coxsackie, New York. You know what I mean? A lot of people know Coxsackie as, that's where the prison is at. You know what I mean? But it's a nice little spot in a beautiful park, that we do it in, just 20 minutes south of Albany. I mean, it's a nice spot. We actually have the ability to take over the whole town for real. The whole little downtown area. We can take it over. It's ours for the taking. So, join us October the 7th. There'll be registrations for that as well. You have a little more than a month to, get your days off of work and all of that. It is going to be on a Saturday, so it's going to be a dope time. It's going to be fun. Right there on the Hudson River. It's pretty dope. It's called Riverside Park. So those two things, look for registration for those two things. Coming out later on today, tonight, somewhere, in that vicinity. All right, there'll be a video about it. But I'm going to head up out of here for today. I appreciate your time. I think maybe Still Knicks Fans is on. Not exactly sure. You know what I mean? I didn't mean to, jump in and yeah. They're on right now. They're live. Know the Ledge. Ron is live on Know the Ledge. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to get up out of here and go over and check out Ron. Support Still Knicks Fans, ladies and gentlemen. As they, are breaking down. They're talking FIBA. They're talking Julius Randle getting his high school jersey retired. You know what I mean? Good conversations going on over there. I'm going to go jump in the chat and, conversate in the chat and all of that. Right? So make sure you go check them out. I'm going to actually put the link to their live stream in the chat right now. So you can go check out Still Knicks Fans and continue talking New York Knicks. Before you do that, I am going to ask you, though, and I'm putting it in the chat right now, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to my new channel called Off the Clock Sports. I know I'm hitting you with a bunch of ads at the end. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? But, we got to do what we got to do sometimes. Last night on Off the Clock Sports, we watched Mike Tyson unify the WBA, WBC title versus James Bone Crusher Smith and then beat up Michael Spinks. It was pretty dope. I mean, we just sat there, we talked about it, watched it, talked about it, stuff like that. So we do, some things a little bit different on Off the Clock Sports. We cover classic sporting events. We cover some current news. Then we talk about different sports issues. You know what I mean? Different sports issues. So, come check us out. It's me and my man. It's a live in-studio thing. And we'll be having some guests in and stuff like that. All right. If you ever want to join, if you have some issues you want to discuss, you ever want to join us, you're in the area, talk to me, man. Come by, join us on Off the Clock Sports. You know what I mean? It's going to be, different than a lot of sporting places, a lot of sporting channels and things like that. So join us on Off the Clock. Go over there and check out Still Knicks Fans. All right, I'm on my way over there right now, and be on the lookout for those registrations coming later on today, tonight, whenever it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. If I don't see you, have a great weekend. And I'm gonna try to get on like tomorrow too, though. You know, my time is freed up a little bit. You know what I mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, I am gonna head out and be peaceful. I had a call coming in like here at the end, right at the end. Anyway, I'm out of here. Peace. Still Knicks fans. Off the Clock Sports. Check it out.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.